Hey guys, answering your questions part two. Today it is kind of gloomy but still nice out. It's fall here in Vancouver, so loving this weather. Let's get into the questions. Am I your favorite cousin? If you didn't look so silly and smell awful, maybe you would be. But to be honest, it's over the top, man. No, you're probably my least favorite because of that. My auntie asks me what's the most valuable lesson I've learned. Well, this isn't the most valuable, but it is something that I'm very proud of recently, and that is you can change your body, man. A year ago, I used to be 125 pounds. I'm now over 170 pounds. So that's like 56 kilos previously, and now I'm like 78 kilos. So man, like I've never felt more confident, more masculine in my life, more confident in my physicality. And, you know, I still have a long way to go, but man, like it's a complete 180. In the past, I always felt weak, skinny, measly, that I couldn't defend myself. But now I don't feel that way anymore. So, man, if somebody wants to do the flip side, they want to lose 40 pounds, they want to lose even more. I mean, it's so possible. I mean, I was skinny, like really, really skinny for 23 years of my life. So, like, even look back at my previous videos. Look at how thin I was. I was like really bony and really thin, and I'm no longer that. So, you can totally change your body. You can totally change the way. I can't really speak on mentally because I think I still have a long ways to go there. But in terms of physicality, you can totally change that, man. Cedric asks me, how do I cope in difficult times? Good question, man. I think that coping in difficult times, the number one thing to do is accept the way that you feel, because unfortunately, if you try to force yourself to not feel the way you feel, I mean, you just spiral out of control. When I'm going through the toughest times and the toughest moments, what I tend to do is I say, this is how I feel. I go and allow myself to feel that way, and eventually you gather the strength to get out of it. And that's the case, every time I go through tough times a lot. There's times where I can't, it's very difficult to cope. But the thing is, I allow myself to feel like shit. If I need to feel like shit, I will feel like shit for days, weeks, and then eventually I pick myself up. And, that's the number one most important thing. What is your thought on living in the West? Not so positive anymore, surprisingly. I used to love it here, and I do think living, when I'm talking about the West, I mean more so North America. I think that here in North America, it's very self-centered. I think the sort of attitude we have is very much focused on, sort of the social media following we have, rather than, intrinsic values and who you are as a person. Apart from fragrances, what topics can you talk about for hours on end? UFC, Kin, that's a good question. I can talk about UFC, MMA, big UFC fan, big fan of the sport because of how unpredictable it is. Sean Strickland beat Israel Adesanya. Sean Strickland was the heavy underdog, and he beat one of the best fighters of all time. I mean, he pulled off one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. So many fights this year have been just complete upsets. I mean, Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman, even Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. Wow, it's just such a event that anything can happen. The biggest stars can get knocked out, and tides change. I love when you see underdogs winning things. A lot of sports, you usually see the top teams winning it, but UFC is not that case. Let's say you came home to a funny smell. How would you react? Would you need to find it, or would you need to try and cover it up? Usually if I had a bad smell in the house, it's probably the cat, because, his litter's there. So I think that my first reaction would be to check the litter box. If not, it's probably the garbages. Sometimes like garbage, if you leave it even for like half a day, sometimes it can stink up the whole place. So I don't think I would try to cover it up. I just try to get rid of whatever it is. I wouldn't spray a bunch of cologne because feel like that would ruin the smell. Like, mixing cologne with garbage or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't know. That would be my first reaction. But good question. Are there any fragrances that you smell everywhere? Has your nose improved first since you got into fragrances? And what is your favorite type of cuisine? Recently, the most two recent fragrances I've smelt were Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue Forever, and also Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue. I mainly only can recognize men's fragrances, but those ones were ones that I've smelt recently, and so it's nice to see that it's not just Sauvage anymore. My nose was probably honestly better when I was traveling a bit more and going to like the UK and Croatia, because I was constantly stopping at the duty-free shops and also Harrods in London. And yeah, when I was traveling, all the fragrance shops there, and I was literally probably smelling like hundreds of fragrances. So usually when I travel is when my nose is the best because I'm more exposed. When I'm here at home living life, it's kind of like, I don't have a lot of time, unfortunately, to go out fragrance sniffing anymore. So mainly if I'm gonna order something, it's usually if I'm just can't speak. If I'm walking into the store and like I see a fragrance that I like, I'll just quickly pick it up, even sometimes without even smelling it. Or I'll order online. So yeah, actually my nose was better in the past. My favorite type of cuisine is definitely Japanese. I am Japanese, so it's my 100% favorite. I love sushi, I love ramen. Yeah, great question. Outside of fragrances, what is the worst smell you've experienced? Are there weird smells that you really like? Oh, what's the worst smell that I've experienced? Huh. That is a really good question. And honestly, I think I was volunteering at the film festival, or not film festival, music festival this summer, and the porta potties have to be pretty awful because we were volunteering and camping overnight, and man, those were the only washrooms we were technically supposed to use. Bleh, can't stand it. Are there any weird smells that I like? Yes, I like gasoline. Gasoline's actually a really good smell. I don't know why. I like gasoline. I'd like to know if there are any fragrances or even smells that you associate with a vivid memory. Which filmmakers do you enjoy? What's your favorite genre of film and why? Great question. I love the smell of airports and airplanes. I don't know why it always makes me feel some type of way, like the fact that you're traveling, the fact there's like hundreds and thousands of people around you, and like I don't know, it smells like an airplane. It's hard to explain. YVR Airport here in Vancouver has a really distinct smell of fountain water because there's a lot of fountains and there's like fish tanks and stuff. So Vancouver kind of does have that feel of a lot of water anyways and lots of fish. So yeah, it smells like a fountain tap water in YVR. It's every time I go traveling, ever since I was a kid, I mean, I love that smell of airplanes and airports. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but my filmmakers that I enjoy most, I definitely do like Chris Nolan. I do like Woody Allen. I do like who are some other ones? Tarantino. A lot of the big guys. My favorite genre of film, I do love thrillers. I do also really like sad movies, like depressing movies. I don't know why. I love movies like Manchester by the Sea, and yeah, just really Requiem for a Dream. Darren Aronofsky, that's another genius director. Just movies that tear you to pieces. I love those. Are there any fragrance notes which make you sneeze or tickle your nose when you smell them, or negatively affect you? And my general question is, what's your favorite and most vivid memory from childhood? pepper, strong pepper. I can't wear Spice Bomb, man. It's too strong. It kind of, yeah, tickles my nose. It makes me want to sneeze. Never been a fan of Spice Bomb. Yeah. My favorite and most favorite memory from childhood, going to Japan. Every time I'm in Japan, it just brings back all the memories because I'm half Japanese. I go there all the time. Love it, Japan. I love Tokyo. I love everything about it. I love the scents and the smells of the soaps in Japan. Japanese soaps and like conditioners and shampoos are some of the best smells you can ever associate to like memories. Just like even going into my bathtub in Japan, where the bathroom is basically just a bathroom, a bath and a shower, and it's this huge room, right, that you can basically sit in, and it's awesome. And just the conditioner smells and the soaps, man. Man, those bring back such good memories. And yeah, thanks for the question. What's my wingspan, Daniel? You know what? I'm just gonna take a guess, okay? I'm 5'9", I'm 170 pounds. I'm gonna guess my wingspan's around 71 inches. My reach, I call it reach because in the UFC, that's what they call it. I'm gonna guess it's around 71 inches. That's just my guess. Where do I feel more relaxed, Daniel? At your mom's house. And yeah, that's all I have, guys. That is my answering questions part 2, and thank you guys so much for watching. I enjoyed doing this, and it was good to see some of my friends there and even family members. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.